20 years ago, I was serving in a place called Happy Valley Goose Bay in Newfoundland and Labrador, which is probably famous to anybody who's had the privilege of being from there or being there. And on September 11th, it became even more well known to a whole group of people. You see, when the US shut its airspace, any places that were still in the care of Shannon Air Traffic Control ended up coming back over here. But anyone that had just crossed over into Gander airspace landed. And they either landed in Gander or in Happy Valley Goose Bay. So the community of Happy Valley Goose Bay sprang into action. Churches, schools, social workers, Mounties, the base family, which included Italians and Dutch and Germans and Canadians, and yes, the wonderful RAF, we all sprang into action to care for and feed and listen and counsel and support and sometimes just hold as we collectively tried to understand what was going on. But I'll always remember the people. There was this lovely young lad from Germany who spoke fluent Russian and had grown up in East Germany, and I desperately wanted to know his story. There was a woman from Birmingham who was flying to New York for a family funeral and kept asking in tears, "Do you think they'll let me go now? Do you think they'll let me go today? Do you think I'll make the funeral?" She never did, because when everything was cleared, they came back over here. I've often wondered, was she ever courageous enough to make that transatlantic flight again? And then there was this amazing woman from Africa, and she carried herself with such gravitas, and she was quite tall and elegant and gracious. And it really struck me and inspired me. And when everything was over, and people were able to go back home again, she came and she had this amazing um, beaded headband, and she took it off and she gave it to me and she said, "For all you have done and for the care you have given us, please accept this." And of course, I said, "No, no, no, you don't have to do that," because it had been our honor and privilege to care. And she said, "No, please, this is important to me." So I did accept this treasure with grace. And it has been on my prayer table ever since. And I hold her and everybody that I met that day and those days in prayer. Years later, I'm now over here serving in a Methodist church, and a colleague originally from Namibia came to the manse and we were talking. And he saw this headband and said, "Where did you get that?" And I told him the story. And after a moment of silence, he said, "You do realize what this meant?" He said, "That was her crown. She was royalty. She took off her tiara, her diadem, her crown, and gave to you." And that gift then took on a whole other level of significance, because it really did highlight that we were one family. There was no rich or poor, us or them, male or female, Jew or Greek, slave or free, as Paul would say. There were no walls. In the midst of everything that would deny it, we witnessed to something else. That the great human family not only are capable of loving and caring for and with each other, but that we want to. That it is fundamentally who we are. And that has given me courage and strength ever since. Now, the thing is that ever since then, there have been times when I'm thinking that that vision and that prayer and that reality wavers a bit. You just need to look around the world. But then I look at my prayer table and I see her crown. And I remember that, especially in the midst of fear and hate we are capable of great things. And that is not only trusting in God's vision for us all and for creation itself, but living it. Let's remember that on this anniversary, but also let's live it every day. God bless you.